trying to fucking be funky and just.
I don't know what I'm doing. Ever. I'm just guessing. It's episode 18 of the motherfucking Prime Podcast. I am your host, Coast. That is your other host, Fatz. Say what the fuck is up.
Yo, what's good? Peace to the primates. Yeah.
Whoa, you really fucking, you put the sex in your voice there. Oh, round of applause. Can we have a digital clap, please? Get in front of that mic, man.
Yeah,
Wanna hear
man.
you.
What's
There
going
you
on,
is.
man? All right.
So, all right, so this is what happened. And now, for the viewing population, right now I have a hood tied tight over my face in a hoodie in the basement. It's probably about 85 degrees down here. Maybe not. I don't know. But this is why. And now I look like an asshole, so I'm going to let it out. But I had a shaving accident, and I shaved all of the fucking hair off my face, and now I look like a little baby asshole. I look like a baby asshole.
Now, when you were shaving, what were you attempting to do when you had the sleight of hand mishap?
This is what happened. Now, you've been seeing my face for years. It's been the same. I don't change anything. I just line it up. And I use a straight razor when I shave my face.
I do the same. I do the same.
So then you probably have done this before. So I'm shaving my face, and I get like, I buzz it down. I take the beard down like a notch, with the clipper. And then I have the water going. And I have to, like, the hair on my face is mad fucking thick. So I have to lubricate my face. So I make a little soapy mixture with the warm water.
Right.
And I go to hit the line. And I hit the line, and that shit hit a motherfucking glide, son. The blade was a new blade. It got out from under me, and one side just went down like fucking inch, bro. It was irreparable. I would have either been walking around looking like a lopsided dick, or I was just going to start over. So it's no secret I'm a fat fucking fuck in the face. If I had a six-pack, I'd still have a double chin. So I ain't hiding this shit from nobody. But here I am. Hello.
Yo, listen.
Oh, now we're laughing at me.
Now, listen. I fully understand the whole, like, that razor hitting a glide, right? Because I was very heavy-handed when I first started. Like, when you first start to learn how to use that straight razor?
Bro, I've been shaving with a straight razor for fucking at least 10 years.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. You remember when you first learned how to use it?
No, it was that long ago.
Okay. Well, for the people out there, when you first start trying to line yourself up with a straight razor, it's like crime scene every time you shave, because you don't realize A, how sharp that blade is, and B, there's the angles that you have to hold it to your face. So what you're talking about hitting the glide, most times you want to put something soapy on your face to help the blade slide better and get a sharper line. Also, you want to put something that's going to open up your pores and relax your pores, because then it'll help you cut the hair better. The hair, because your beard is coarse hair.
Yeah.
Even on you Caucasian males, your beard is very coarse. So you need something to relax the pore and actually help the blade slide. So I can understand what you're saying, because it's happened to me before, trying to get that straight line, and that thing just goes a little bit too far,
And now I look like this. I'm making a stupid ass face. Wait till you see this. You're gonna be like, oh my God. So yeah, so that's what happened. And I was sort of like fucking rushing, like, I don't know. I was sick of looking, and you let it go too many days and you're sick of looking at yourself, and then you got to go do something and you want to kind of clean up fast.
Right. Absolutely.
I was rushing. I was fucking rushing.
So anyway,
yeah.
The world is changing rapidly before our eyes.
I'd say so myself.
Since the last time, we just released an episode today, didn't we?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
And since we recorded that episode, there's been a lot of change going on.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Sure.
right now, if for those that don't, well, for those that do know me, they know already. For those that don't know, I am a diehard Buffalo Bill fan. Diehard Buffalo Bills. That just stems back from my father and learning the game with him, and then me taking on picking up the mantle of the fandom and everything else like that. So, uh, earlier this week, the footage came out from Buffalo PD. Did you see the footage of the cops pushing down the 75-year-old man?
Is that I seen? It's like an old white dude that just started leaking everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. They pushed
Yeah,
him
yeah, I
down.
saw that.
And what happened is, he's protesting and they pushed him. He got in their way and everything else like that because, no one feels more authoritative than a 75-year-old white man. No one.
Yeah, I mean, he just looked like he generally didn't give a fuck what they had to say.
Exactly.
It's like they
So
ain't gonna push me.
exactly.
Wrong.
So this is what happens when privilege goes wrong. You see what I'm saying?
I suppose that is one way to look at it.
So what happened was, not even make light of the situation, they pushed this man down. Now, regardless of his color, the guy is 75 years old. He's a senior citizen. Period. End of story. I don't care how I don't care how spunk and spry this guy is, how good in shape he might be and everything else. The guy's 75.
I gotta say one thing. He had A1 circulation to his head because as soon as that shit hit the ground, there was a puddle.
Right.
That shit was leaking, son.
Yo,
That's
listen,
fucked
man.
up, but
I'm trying to be serious here, man. God.
I'm just saying that was an impressive puddle of fucking blood under his head within seconds, and then the cop that pushed him turned around and did like a double take, and he was like, "Oh fuck!"
Right.
It's fucking.
So all right. So basically, they pushed the guy down. What was really messed up is that there was the guy that pushed him down, the cop that pushed him down. But when the cop pushed him down and saw that he actually hurt this guy, right? He tried to, like, you could look in the video. He actually tried to like pick the guy up or whatever. And then there was a second cop that basically was like, "No, keep moving." And they all started stepping over this guy.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't understand where they were going, and
Yeah.
then I seen that there was people like running up. I didn't know if that was like his family or friends or some shit, but
Right. But now,
I,
basically, in the climate that we're in, the mayor of Buffalo and the Buffalo PD, they got rid of those two cops, the guy that pushed him down and the guy that told him to step, those two cops, they arrested them. They suspended them, they arrested them, charged them with assault and everything else like that, right?
right.
So, in response to that, there were a bunch of cops that were in that emergency response team that have quit that detail in response.
Yeah, I
to
heard
that.
they resigned or some shit. Like
Yeah,
a
but
whole
not
significant
from
amount.
not from the department, but from
Oh.
that team. So it's like, I guess, like, you have to, volunteer to be a part of that detail, and I guess you have to have some kind of training and everything else like that. But in their response in solidarity, they resigned from that post, not from the police department, but from that post.
That to me is like that's like saying like that like if you got a job at work and you were like, this sucks, I don't want to do it anymore. Fuck you. Like they're just allowed to do that. I don't feel like doing this shit no more. Fuck you.
Right.
I don't want to do it.
But to be honest, I was having this conversation this week. I was having this conversation. Now, we talk about work all the time. For those that don't know, myself and Coast both are employed by the New York City Transit Authority.
I'm sort of employed by them.
Well, anyway, we're employed by the New York City Transit Authority.
Right.
And I was given the analogy of this whole situation where with the cops, and I was saying, if you yourself go out and you murder someone, or you go out and you're caught stealing, or you have some kind of egregious crime, when they report about it, they're not going to say an Italian man, they're not going to say a white man, they're not going to say a young man, they're going to say a transit worker.
Oh
Period.
yeah,
End of
we've
story.
seen that.
The
Seen that
the
in the
the
past.
yes, the bottom line is the moment that you signed on and you became an employee of the transit authority, you are now a representative of the transit authority. End of story. Any type of municipality that you any like municipal anything you work for, whether it be sanitation department, transportation, cops, firemen, EMTs, whenever you work for the municipality, you become a representative of the municipality.
Why do you think I stay in the fucking house for?
Right. But here's my point. My point bringing home is, if you and I, who deal with the transportation of the city, are held to a standard of representing the entity that we work for, now where does that place a cop? A cop should definitely be held to a higher standard than even us.
All right, let me just say something here. And this is an observation I made, and I sit and I just think about things sometimes, right? Because I read that those cops walked off that after that happened, that a certain amount of people, it was like an impressive number of people that fucking said we quit this part. So I was thinking about it, and now I tried to relate this shit to like exactly what you're talking about, just from the perspective of this is a job at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So all right, so like these dudes are trying to perform a task, right?
Right.
Albeit, you know, who the fuck would want to do this for a living? But that's their job. So they're being told now you need to go out and you need to maintain some sort of order in these streets. Now, I was watching fucking Cuomo talking about, and this was in New York City, the day after this crazy riots and shit was happening. He was like, "Wow, the police didn't do their job." It's like all right, so in this fucking position, like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't on some levels, because they're gonna scrutinize you if you fucking shoot somebody or if you push somebody over, you hurt somebody. But if they light Saks Fifth Avenue on fire, they're gonna scrutinize you that you didn't stop. I would never want this fucking job that these people, especially now, it's like, how do you maneuver through that and make everybody happy and still at the same time keep your job?
Okay. Now let me respond to that. Now, my particular position requires me to be in the street. It requires me to be out and about.
That's why I was relating it to something like if they told you go pick up a bus and then a cab backed up right in front of the bus and you can't hook the bus.
Right. Now, here's the point that I'm trying to make. They looted Fordham Road, right? They tore Fordham Road apart. They got into they looted a Chase. There was a few shops, a couple of Old Navies. They basically a Foot Locker and everything else. They looted Fordham Road. And for those that don't live in New York City, Fordham Road in the Bronx is a major shopping hub with a lot of big stores, a lot of mom and pop stores, but it's a major shopping hub. It spans the whole expanse of the Bronx, from the westernmost point to the Bronx, almost to the easternmost point of the Bronx. So
it's like an outside shopping mall, if you could picture
right,
it.
but
For
it's
people that have never been there,
it's a long stretch of road that is just dedicated to shopping. Most people in
all
the Bronx,
stores, fast food, stuff like that.
right. So anyway, They looted Fordham Road. So now the nights following that looting, the cops had strategically shut down major thoroughfares because of the 8 o'clock curfew that was enforced. The cops had major thoroughfares shut down.
The fuck is a thoroughfare?
Well, major streets.
So Fordham Road was shut down. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, but a lot of different arteries that would lead to Fordham Road as well.
Like Arthur Avenue's closed.
I don't know, but I'm talking about like other streets. What do you want me to
Right.
map out every street?
I'm just saying that when you talk about a thoroughfare, it's these streets that lead to main roads.
Right, but it
I
was
never
like,
heard that word before until right now.
Oh,
Thank you for
okay.
the new word.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, what I was saying is they shut these streets down and they had strategic barricades set up and everything else like that. And what I did see from the NYPD is the fact that there were way more white shirts than I ever seen in the streets before.
What is a white shirt? Like the sergeants?
No, the lieutenants, the guys,
Lieutenant.
lieutenants and captains, and these guys like the higher ups. You're seeing these guys were out there policing, not just being, like being shift
desk.
commanders at a desk in the precinct. These guys were out there in the streets getting to it. That was one. Two, I also saw the fact that they employed strategy to keep things in line afterward. And the thing about it is I do say this. When you paint with broad strokes, you kind of like you can offend some people because there were cops that were actually doing their jobs. Because you got to think about it. Even with the looting and the protests and everything else like that, this is a city of 8 million people that has a police force of maybe 38,000.
Yeah, that's what Cuomo was saying.
So if you have a police force that's not even 1% of your population that is supposed to keep law and order, and most of the looting was quelled in one night. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it didn't happen more than once. What I'm saying is it wasn't a mass thing of like a week or two of this stuff going on. You understand what I'm saying? And the problem that I had, and this was before, because when we recorded before, this was before I actually saw.
We recorded last Saturday, and I even put that in the description that we recorded last week.
Right. So when we recorded before, this was before I actually saw, because the first looting happened Sunday. And the first New York City looting happened Sunday. And then Monday was another one. Monday night was crazy. And I was at work both days. So when I saw the aftermath, the thing that got me kind of like upset, the upsetting part was the mom and pop pharmacies. Because now you're looting a pharmacy to try to get pills so that you can either A, get high, or B, sell pills and make money. But now when you loot this mom and pop pharmacy, what about all of the older folks in the neighborhood that depend on this pharmacy to be open so that they can get their prescriptions?
Man.
Like that's where I was like, wow, like I kind of like, it's like you're looting to say that I'm upset and this is the cause, but you lose me when you're looting like specific establishments. When I see you taking sneakers or ripping open ATMs or raiding pharmacies trying to get pills, that to me is like you're losing your message to me. Like you're losing me.
Bro, listen. I see these people on Facebook and Instagram. I kind of been laying low on there, but I see people that were writing shit like, there's 38,000 of them. We outnumber them by such and such a, whatever huge number. Like you said, like the population versus how many cops there are.
Right.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like, considering what sparked this and what this is all about,
Mm-hmm.
like, how could you really justify that you're gonna take the entire police force down? And then what?
Mm-hmm.
After you fucking rip through and ravage your fucking town. Now I'm looking at them videos from the Bronx. They hit a stretch of miles, bro.
Yeah.
Like grocery stores, corner stores. I'm thinking the first shit that came to my fat ass mind was, how the fuck are these people gonna eat?
Right.
How are you gonna eat? You raided every store in your fucking town. It's not like you came to some rich neighborhood and took all their shit.
Mm-hmm.
You did this. Now where are you gonna get a bacon, egg, and cheese tomorrow? You did this in your fucking backyard. Like,
But you know why? Do you know why that happens?
yes, I do know why it happens.
Okay, so what is your theory on that?
My theory is it's a big fuck you. It's like, fuck you. We've been dealing with this bullshit for so fucking long. Now you're gonna feel it.
No, not that.
What?
What is your theory on why certain neighborhoods will get hit, but others won't?
Well, I mean, because there certain neighborhoods, like for instance, I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and there was some shit that went down in Morris Park, and it didn't go down for more than fucking 5-10 minutes because they shut it the fuck down. This policing in some neighborhoods will say, nah, we live here. You're not taking over this neighborhood. You're not just gonna light this shit on fire because we live here and we have to live amongst each other here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my theory on why it won't fly. Like the same reason it won't fly if they came to Long Island. Like, all right, you're a homeowner. You own a house. You work and you pay for this fucking house, right? You want to see somebody, no matter what the fucking cause is, no matter what they feel bad about, you're gonna let them come to your house and light your shit on fire and just walk off with your TV or whatever, like, just walk all over your shit?
Yeah, but Long Island is different also too because
No, but it's the same sense of like this is our home. You can't come to certain places and like, because this, like you said, bro, this is happening in certain neighborhoods in the Bronx. Why do you think that is?
Well, to be honest, it's also a zoning mentality. There's a part of that. A part of it is not just people having pride in their neighborhood. A part of it is also, no matter how angry minorities are right now, there's still a general fear of going outside of your borders and being a certain way. Because
why?
Because it's generational, man. This is what I keep trying to tell people about this whole thing. The whole racism, everything else like that is with this country. Black people have been in this country since its inception. Since the dawn of the days of this land being so-called discovered and everything else like that, there's been black people here. At the end of the day, if all of these centuries later, we still have a general mistrust, a general hatred, a general just uneasiness amongst the people of this country, that means that is a generational thing. That is something that is so ingrained in us that even when we have conversations, it's not about my generation. It's not about the generation before us. It's not even about our kids. Our kids are even living in a world where they're going to have to combat this. What we can do right now is we can just try to swing the pendulum in a different direction to where that we can start the healing, because the healing is going to take a long time. Most of these people that are looting, first and foremost, I've already said that the looting started with a bunch of agent provocateurs that were agitating. And,
Every time.
And
every video piece that you see,
yeah,
is some fucking, and this is the other shit that I don't want to cut you off, but I'm going to anyway. This is the shit that is bugging me the fuck out right now. And like when you see there'll be a peaceful protest,
Mm-hmm.
people standing there saying what they got to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what you're supposed to do when you have something to say. Stand up for it and say it.
Right.
But then out of the fucking blue, some rogue fucking white hippie in a hoodie and gloves and a mask comes
Mm-hmm.
and lights some shit on fire or spray paints Black Lives Matter on some shit.
Right.
And then it turns crazy. I'm not saying that the message Black Lives Matter it shouldn't be spray painted on shit, but why the fuck? Like if people are coming, if black people are coming and having these peaceful things, and even white people are there too, and they can be peaceful, why
Right.
the fuck? Why isn't that? I find that it's disrespectful to the movement that you think you're the guy that needs to take it to the next level, and nobody's like. I've seen some videos of people checking them on it, like, yo, no, not here. But like that should be like, yo, get the fuck out of here, yo.
Yeah, but think about this. Every person that's angry doesn't have the same moral and ethical view. So here's my point on that. There are some people that are just opportunistic. They're just opportunistic people out there. So there are people that will come in the world and they'll see, all right, they're lighting this stuff on fire. Here's my opportunity to come away with something, right?
What do you come away from that with though?
No, I'm talking about like, you steal something. Not everybody feels that that's wrong.
Listen, a certain amount of that shit, I get it, bro. I fucking get it.
Mm-hmm.
The part I don't get about it is like just the complete and utter disregard for the place you live, your neighborhood. Like
you're absolutely, you're 100% right. What I'm saying is in the heat of the moment, it's like the same thing. Nothing can be going on, but if you're in a crowd of 2,000 people and 30 people just start running, what do you think is going to end up with that 2,000 people? What are they going to start doing?
They're gonna run.
Everybody's going to end up running. It's going to be a
Yeah.
stampede. Why? Because some people started something and it starts a chain reaction. So now you bash the windows open in Foot Locker, right?
Right.
There's unimpeded entry into there, right? And you see the first person run in there and grab a box of sneakers, right? That other people are gonna do it. End of story. Other people are gonna do it. It's just it's that mob mentality. It's like the angry mob.
I get
a
it,
peaceful protest can be turned into an angry mob. Now, here's the thing on looting and everything else like that. And this is my final thing on it. My final thing on looting is this. It solves nothing.
Nothing.
It solves nothing. At the end of the day, my point being, I understand the anger. I understand. But what I'm saying is the end game of it and the fallout of it. It's like the same thing. If you're having some type of beef with someone and you go above and beyond and it's very destructive in the way that you react to certain things, right? By the time the smoke clears, you now have to deal with the fallout of your action. So now, once the smoke clears, and even if there is change, what now happens to your neighborhood? Your neighborhood has to be rebuilt, right? Now, when your neighborhood is now in a state of disrepair because of the fact that things have been burned down, things have been looted, and there's so much property damage. And now a lot of property owners might sell cheap for pennies on the dollar. What does that now do? That now allows investors to come into your neighborhood, to buy your neighborhood for pennies on the dollar, to gentrify your neighborhood, and now cash in on your neighborhood, thus pushing you out.
Yeah, we touched on that last time. I think some of these neighborhoods are just beyond that even being an option because it's
not necessarily, man.
I mean, no, obviously we've seen it. We've seen it with Brooklyn. We've seen it with fucking Harlem. But it's like this will turn around quick, and things will get back to the way they were if people will allow it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is not like, I can feel that. I can see what you're trying to say, and what just based off of what has happened in the past, but it was never brought on by a fiery rage. It was just like, shit happened. Real estate is, if you look at the map of like Manhattan, when you start getting into fucking the upper 90s, 80s, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just starts getting nicer and nicer, and it's only, what's gonna happen is, people are gonna keep getting pushed out up to the Bronx
Mm-hmm.
more and more, because they're going to keep taking over. But I don't think this is what's going to spark that. I think this is some like complete other shit.
But
Which
the other part of that, getting back to let me just revisit what I was saying, because we veered off into a whole nother situation. The whole Buffalo thing was the cops. They were swift to move. They even swifter than Minneapolis, because of the general climate of what's going on, right? So again, protesting and even some of the looting has gotten the attention of the government, of the people in power, that we cannot drag our feet and start, protecting these guys. If these guys are out of pocket, we have to react right away. Also this week, bringing it back to the Buffalo Bills, the quarterback we just drafted a quarterback, and his name is Jake Fromm, and we just drafted him, and he some girl he was texting. I believe she might have been some kind of like jaded lover or something like that, because that's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like to me, right? She leaked some texts that they were talking about, and in the text he said that he said that guns are good, and he wished that he could have suppressors, and they should make them very expensive and only available to elite white people like him.
that's like, he wrote it like that.
Wrote it just like that.
What?
Wrote it just like
Like,
that.
that's what the text said?
That's what the text said.
That's just like even an odd way of saying something like that. Like,
And
this is
and
this.
and that wasn't like, because again, it's so funny because this is the team I love so much. Our first string quarterback, our franchise quarterback, when he was in high school, was saying he had some kind of like racist and sexist tweets going on, right?
Where are both of these dudes from?
Well, Josh Allen is from California, but he's from like farm country in California.
Okay,
And
makes sense.
Jake Fromm is from Georgia, the great state of Georgia.
Well, I rest my case. We talk about this all the time.
But listen, hold on. Here's my point to this. At least with Josh Allen, I can say he was an exuberant high school kid that was just talking trash and basically not knowing when to shut up. This guy, he sent that text last year. That was last year. That was 2019, and he was drafted this year. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
100%.
and the problem there lies. Here's my point. The whole thing, and we're gonna get into that Drew Brees thing and everything else like that. Here's my point. When the whole thing broke, immediately the next day, he released an apology, and the Buffalo Bills released a statement, right? And I was like, basically, I'm not here to accept fake apologies. The man said that because that's what the man felt, and he's entitled to feel the way he wants to feel. You know, the apology to me is just basically saying, let me backtrack and get the heat off of me. But here's the thing: the man feels the way he feels because that's the way he grew up and that's what he was taught. There's no way, shape, or form that if you're not taught these things, that you grow up having these type of views and these type of opinions.
100%. I say it all the time, man. I say it all the fucking time.
Uh,
Um,
the big uproar was Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints. He basically was interviewed, and it's funny because he was on like Yahoo Finance or something like that, some kind of like nothing to do with football. The interview, it was something else, like some kind of outlet that it was like nothing, not a sports outlet. But they asked him about the whole protesting thing, and he basically took it upon himself to now he he brought it back to the whole flag thing. And I don't support, because they were saying the NFL players were saying that they were going to go back to peaceful protesting with everything that's going on. And he basically was saying, well, I don't respect anybody that doesn't respect the flag, and I'm not with anybody disrespecting the flag. He basically went on to say that he had two grandfathers that served in World War II, and basically he went on with that, and then it created a massive uproar.
wait, hold on. So basically, all he said was, "I don't, I don't fuck with nobody that disrespects the American flag."
Right.
That's it.
Well, right. That he basically said that he disagrees with anybody protesting taking a knee during the national anthem because that's disrespect to the flag. So
Nah, that's a different, the whole fucking different thing.
what?
The whole different thing.
What's the different
But
thing?
uh, disrespecting the flag to me is protesting and standing on the flag or lighting it on fire. If you don't want to take a knee, don't take a fucking knee. That's a personal choice. It's like you know what I'm saying? One thing to me, I don't know how I'm not mad at him. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying, like, how does he interpret that as a
Well,
disrespect to the flag? Why? Because you're supposed to.
here's the situation. Here's the situation. The whole flag thing to me was basically when Colin Kaepernick was doing it, when he was taking it. And the funniest thing was his advisor to take the knee during the anthem was a person from the military. That's the craziest when you think about how the narrative was changed. Colin Kaepernick raised awareness because most people were like, well, why are you taking a knee during the national anthem before a football game? He now responded, well, I am doing this in silent protest, right? That's his words. I'm doing this in silent protest for the police brutality in this country and black men losing their lives to police brutality. He laid it out very eloquently, not militantly, not threatening and everything else. He basically said, I'm trying to use my status and my platform to raise awareness for this issue that is a very pressing issue in this country. Right. In that time of that protest, uh, the powers that be, including the NFL, tried to spin the narrative that he was disrespecting the flag, disrespecting the military, disrespecting veterans, and they ran with that. And the man was vilified and basically ran out of the league, right?
Yeah, I remember this.
So
Pretty
now,
big story.
right. So now in 2020, what are we like 3 years removed from that? In 2020, we're still seeing the same thing that the man was trying to bring awareness to. And now, because of the violence that it has sparked in Minneapolis, in New York, and in other places, people are saying, well, why can't you peacefully protest this? Why does it have to be violence? including the NFL, who released a statement this week, basically saying that. So now it makes people say, well, hold on. This guy that was on this platform and trying to raise awareness peacefully was made to be a martyr. He was like basically public enemy number one for disrespecting the flag. And it's basically like, a aha moment. Like, how are you like saying that we should peacefully protest when we had a man do that and he was basically lambasted for doing it? So now in comes Drew Brees, insert his foot into his mouth by saying, no matter what's going on, I don't respect anybody that disrespects the flag. When now people are even coming around to saying kneeling is not disrespecting the flag. It's about the climate of police brutality.
Yeah. I mean, I only think about one thing, like, when I hear shit like this. It's like, I know this is a quote somewhere before he said it, but Screw Tape, the rapper, I don't know if you know who
Right.
that is.
Mm-hmm.
In a song, he said, "If you walk on water, they'll say it's cause you can't swim." And it's
Yeah.
fucking like, it's the
It's
same shit. It's
yeah.
like, no matter what, there's always gonna be the bullshit. Like, it's never gonna fucking, if you leave it up to the media and the rest of the world that likes to divide people,
Mm-hmm.
like, what, like, you can't just watch the dude take his knee and respect it, and that's the message that he's trying to get across, and play the fucking game. It's always got to be some shit, like,
But
and
see,
people are not looking for a solution, bro. That's when it
this
gets out of control.
the part about it that is disheartening is the fact that all of these years later, and with these things still happening, right? Like the girl Breonna Taylor, I think it was her birthday yesterday. Yesterday was her birthday. The one that I was telling you about the episode. The that we were talking about, the one that the EMT that the cops killed with the no knock warrant.
Yeah.
She would have been 27 yesterday, and that's the painful part of it, is that there's so many different lives lost with the actual run-ins with the police. My wife and I had a discussion one time, and I was basically telling her, I was like, I, one thing, I'm like I'm not one of those people that's with the whole like, oh, interracial dating is bad and everything else, blah 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 blah. Right? I'm not one of those people. What I am a person is, I'm like this. No matter how much you love a person, culturally, there's just certain things you will never understand about that person. Just period, end of story. Whether it's a black person understanding something about an Italian person, an Irish person, a German person, there's just culturally things about that culture you just won't understand. And I was saying that in reference to, I was like, a black male driving in his car with his white girlfriend or white wife, no matter how much she loves him, until she lives through the situation, she will never understand the fear and the sense of urgency when that man gets stopped in traffic.
Yeah.
Until she actually witnesses what goes on, she'll never understand that. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is that there are cultural differences, and that's fine. It's the fact that what we're having a problem with in this country is people respecting cultural difference, is people respecting a person's right for liberty in this country. At the point, I'm not telling you to basically, I'm not telling anybody to forget the history of what happened. What I'm saying is, when do we begin to change it? It's not only black people that can change it. It's not only Hispanics that can change it. It's not only Asians or Indians or anybody. Every single person, and white people can't do it all themselves either. Every single person in this country has to have some kind of hand in changing things. Period. End of story. We all have the responsibility to be one single nation.
Well, I mean, I noticed one thing that's happening online, and with people I know, they'll be like, I'll see them talking about this shit that happened, right? Like
Mhm.
this happened, and this is where the shit gets fucking foggy and confused in my head.
Mhm.
Like, is the narrative like here fuck the cops or fuck white people? Because I watch conversations go down and I read the comments. I don't always say shit, but I read the comments and they'll be like on some they, and they ain't talking about cops. They be talking about white people. But then if you call them on it, or you say, or if somebody else jumps in there, that like a white dude will say something under one of them comments that's like as if you said something on some fuck white people shit and generalizing white people in general,
Mhm.
and I was like, I thought I was your man, and you'd be like, oh, not you. What
Right.
do you mean, not me?
Right.
This is a lot of the fucking problem is that shit is on both sides, and people that think like that, it's really hard to ever get past some shit like this.
Yeah, but
Like if
you know, do you realize that even with peaceful protesting, it's basically if I'm asking you, um, just personally, Phil, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? You have to find the decency and the kindness in your heart to actually do something for me. If I continue to ask you, I need, right? And if you're the one that's in power, you can either A, help me, or you can B, say, screw me, right? So now
what do you like asking, like what though? Like you want
just
to
ask
borrow the car?
no,
Like what?
like just for if I feel like we're in the same space and you're basically the one that has the power in that space, right? You have the power in that space. And I keep asking you, listen, can you see fit to give me equality on the same level as everybody in this space, being that you're the person that's in power in this space? Can you see me as equal in this space and not see me as lesser in this space?
Bro, who are you hanging out with?
No, listen, I'm just saying.
I
Listen, follow me. What
I'm
I'm saying,
following.
what I'm saying is if you continuously ask and not receive, it's at the person that you're asking, is at their discretion to actually do anything for you, right? Or you can get on some gangster and take it. You
No,
know what
you
I'm saying?
can't. You can't though.
What
Let
listen.
me explain something to you, bro. You're gonna encounter there's a version of white people
Mm-hmm.
that don't like me.
Right,
Okay, I'm not white enough for some of them.
right.
So like the people that are being expected
Mm-hmm.
to fucking come around, they ain't never fucking coming around. You should hear the way they talk about black people.
Right,
They ain't never coming around.
right,
Those are never going to be your allies.
right,
They're never going to fucking fight for the rights of black people. It's just not fucking happening
right,
because it's so ingrained in them to protect their fucking hierarchy.
right.
And it's just that's why when I look at this shit, it's like, yeah, that sounds perfect. That sounds great and all.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have no problem fucking pretending,
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't happening, bro.
Right.
It ain't fucking happening. And to have that expectation is what draws this bullshit out. Instead of like it's just like I don't know. I never think in terms of like I don't know. It's such a weird fucking. I can't really put myself in the shoes like the way you're breaking it down for me and saying like, you know, asking this of a people. It's like these people have been this way forever. It's never gonna fucking
Okay. So
change.
now here's the thing. The responsibility now, first of all, the main religion of this country is capitalism. End of story.
End of story.
End of
That's
story.
it.
We can stop right there. I don't care where you go to kneel, bend and kneel and pray and do it. The number one religion in this country is capitalism. The number
That's it.
one way that you get your agenda pushed is economically.
That's
Period.
it.
End of story. If you do not have the bag, your issues will not be met. End of story. That is it. So now, here's the thing. What is the way? What is the single best way to keep a certain people disadvantaged and a certain people with the advantage? You find economic economically ways to separate these people.
Yeah. You know who does that the best?
Who?
The fucking media.
Exactly.
You know who buys that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Every ounce of it that they're selling?
Mm-hmm.
The consumers. They come in all shapes, sizes, and colors.
Absolutely.
But when you don't realize that it's happening to you,
Mm-hmm.
it's fucking menticide, bro. It's brainwash.
Right. Right.
So I said something on Facebook the other day. I don't know if you caught this. I wrote, you know who Cole is, right? From Bad Karma?
Yes, Mr. Tilton. Yes.
Right. I don't know if you're friends with him on Facebook.
I am.
Forever, he's been saying shit, and I would read it. I'd be like, this guy's out of his fucking mind.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it has never been more clear that he is not out of his fucking mind.
Right.
He might be a little abrasive with the shit he's saying. He means well.
Mm-hmm.
He's just calling it like he sees it. And it's been like when Bad Karma recorded Wildfire in 2002, you could listen to shit he said back then, and it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
He's not he's smart, but when you break it down to the bare bones of what the fuck is happening here,
Mm-hmm.
it's so simple to see. And that's it. There's no until you can get past the shit of and George Carlin said it the best too, and he said it's a big fucking club and you ain't in it.
Right. But see, that's the thing about it is that the change that needs to be happening. It's on so many different levels. It's without economics though. Without economics and without people uniting economically, because at the end of the day is this whole thing of why when they had the whole backlash with Gucci and then you have somebody like Floyd Mayweather that's like he doesn't care, he's going to shop Gucci and everything else like that. The fact of the matter is, what does Gucci, they don't care
No, they don't care.
They don't care. But what I'm saying is, if economically their bottom line was hurt, then you would see like, whoa, oh, hold on. You know what I'm saying?
You'd see them release a statement. Nothing else about their business model would change.
I'm just saying.
They'd have some fucking crafty publicist craft a beautiful statement, and they would tweet it like they did.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is what the NFL is fearing. The NFL released a statement basically fearing the fact that their bottom line is going to be hurt with the condemnation of people with the whole protest. That's the reason why they're coming around and saying, well, maybe we got it wrong with Colin Kaepernick. You know what I mean?
Man, they don't have a job right now. They're on unemployment, bro. They're going to say anything to put their name in a fucking game.
Right.
Like, this is the shit right here. It's like, motherfucker, like, yo, the media, man, what's stopping this podcast from being bigger? No media coverage.
Right.
Like, it's all a big fucking game. It's a shit show, dude.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, and then you have to also understand that you have liberal left-wing media and you have conservative right-wing media, and they're going at it trying to sell narratives as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and the greatest part about that is that it's all owned by the same person.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's drastically different narratives being sold by both sides.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you gonna make poor white people go to war with poor black people?
Yeah.
That's how else are you going to do that? You have to appeal to both sides. They both need something to hang on to and nobody's going to think for themselves.
Right.
God forbid.
Right.
Form an opinion. Like sit back and look at shit for the way it really is, and look at people for who they are and judge them by that merit.
Right.
Who the fuck's gonna do that? You gotta listen to the man on the screen, bro.
Right.
He'll tell us what to do. It's dude, it's so fucking, it's so frustrating. Like I was a big piece of shit for a lot of my life,
Right.
and until you really like sit back with yourself and reflect
Mm-hmm.
upon what you need to do to live with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and how you need to, how you need to go to sleep at night, and then you start, you start seeing the world a different way for what it is, and it's like why, you think about why we're here. A
Yeah,
lot of
but
people don't do that, man.
it's a big respect thing because no matter what, even with the you know why cops are the way they are with blacks? It's because they don't
Just
feel like they have to respect the black man. Because it's
some
never
of it.
it listen, it could be fear and everything else, but the thing about it is that when you see the whole like I have to like the man was trying to buy something with a fake $20 bill. How does that have him end up? Because he when they called the cops on him, I I heard this fool Candace Owens talking about it. And when they called the cops on him, oh, he was high on this, that, and the third, and this was in his system and everything. So what? The guy was trying to pass a fake bill. How does that have him end up face down on the ground with a knee on his neck?
Is there a
Other
video of that part of this?
of what part?
The confrontation when the cops came.
No, I haven't seen one.
Well, I can tell you how. He probably told him to suck his dick, and
Right. But
then there's four of them, and they're all, when they get together, they are bullies,
right.
and that's it.
But what I'm saying is now cue in a white man holding a blade trying to stab cops, yelling all kind of obscenities and everything else. That white man is allowed to live.
Yeah, because they look at the white guy and they're like, this dude is wild pussy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is what I'm the even if that's the case, the problem with that is there's a general lack of respect for the life of a black man. The life of a black man is
I'm
not
not gonna
respected.
even, I can't argue with you about that because that's
It's just I'm just
that's the
saying
facts.
the
That's
the
what's been
fact of
shown.
the fact of the matter is it's a lack of respect. And that's where because I'm just being pragmatic about it. We can argue the semantics of the situation all day for 30 days straight. What I'm saying is when you peel back all the layers of the onion, there are men and women walking around in these jails, in the streets, who are sworn to uphold the law, but they have a genuine lack of respect for the life of a black person. And that's the scary part. That's what we need to be talking about. These are the hard conversations that we need to have where we have extra training. Even if you have these guys, you have to sit and have them go through all of this training, like the mind numbing training that we have to go through and just have them like, listen, when it comes down to racial sensitivity, these things have to change. No matter what you believe in your personal life, but when you have this badge and you're representing this municipality, you have to show respect for everybody that is in this community. Everyone, no matter what race, creed, or color they are.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm listening.
Do you know any people that are crazy?
Yes, I do.
You ever met a person that was just an unreasonable asshole
Yes.
that had a point to prove?
Yes.
That was, you talk to this person and you just can't get through to them at all ever.
Right.
It's a certain personality type.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the guys that become these cops that act like the way you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what this obviously they're put through a light mental screening of some sort, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't figured out a way to weed that out yet, I guess.
Yo, you know why? You know why you don't? You know why you don't drive 100 miles an hour every day, all day? It's because
Yes,
they
because they
are
can't afford.
because there are economic consequences to that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we could talk about people being crazy and everything else. We could even talk about piss poor hiring practices. But let's start talking about this. Yo, if you are caught doing XYZ, if there's complaints against you, if this, that, and the third, we're gonna start hitting your pension. We're gonna start hitting your
Yeah, but
401k.
fuck that, dude. That leaves too much
What?
open for people getting shot. They should never be hired. Well, now I guess the people that are there, moving forward, but like this mentality of person should not have that position because they
Right.
can't handle it.
It starts with hiring practice. But what I'm saying is economics being the capitalism being the number one religion in this country, the rat race. The best way that you keep people in line is economic sanction. Economic consequence will stop a lot of the stupidness that goes on with these cops. I'm telling you.
That's right. So if you fire them and they have no income, they won't be a cop
Yeah, but
anymore.
that's my point. These things, and they now you have to, because back in the days, you could fire a cop, he can move somewhere and become a cop somewhere else.
Right.
And that these are the type of things that need to stop. If the guy was a terrible cop over here, what do you think? What makes you think he's going to be a great cop over there?
There needs to be like I don't want to say 3 strikes you're out type shit, whatever, but like every time they talk about one of these dudes that gets in trouble for some shit like this, they start reading the rap sheet. It's like he did this, he did that, he did this, he did that. Enough is enough.
Listen,
Like
it should be like a sex offender list. Like how you have to be
basically,
registered as a sex offender, you should be registered as a dirty cop. So that you can
you
no longer seek or find employment anywhere else in this country as law enforcement because you have exhibited that you cannot be trusted to hold this post.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they need to just fire these motherfuckers. Like we got our
Absolutely.
job. They told us what they tell us when you get this job. You can only really get fired a couple of ways.
Right.
Don't fight, don't steal.
Right.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
And
Don't
then,
fucking do the shit that you're doing to people, man.
yes, but and then everything else in between has economic consequences to it.
Yeah.
So
They need to figure that shit out and put it on paper and make it a thing because
as
it's the only shit.
I said, a lot of things that keep people in line. Why do people pay their taxes? Have we seen anybody in the history of this country evade the government paying taxes?
You seen them try, but
And how does that end up? That
Ask Wesley Snipes how that ends up.
Ask Fat Joe, a bunch of people that have ended up doing jail time for these things.
Yeah, you can't beat these motherfuckers, bro.
Exactly. So economic consequence. That's my point. That's something that is essential to quelling this problem in the short term.
Well, yep. I agree, but
That's
they
not
shouldn't.
that's not the only solution, but it's an essential solution. It's an essential piece to the solution. That's my point.
Absolutely. Anyway, we're at an hour and 4 minutes. Every time we get into this shit just goes by like a flash, like boom. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 18
Yes, sir.
of the Prime Podcast. We appreciate you rocking with us, and we love you very much.
Yay!
Yay! See you next time.
Peace.
Bye.